Good evening. Modes of entry in international market is very important. I have already discussed certain things why companies are going international, because that is the ultimate objective of the company, to be globally recognized organization. So what is important? Companies domestic market may be saturated, and because of that thing, newer opportunities companies are looking forward, and because of that thing, international entry is important. Now, certain terminology is important related to this international marketing, that is organic growth, inorganic growth. What is the meaning of organic growth? When you are doing own business without any acquisition or merger, and this is basically organic growth. When you go for a merger or acquisition, then this is known as inorganic growth. Now, organic as well as inorganic growth both are equally important, as because without inorganic growth you cannot reach to the objective of your organization, say for 10 years down the line. So, organic as well as inorganic growth is also important. Now, why organic growth is important? As because it is your growth only. Without any acquisition, without any merger, you are basically able to create your own market. Because most of the time even big mergers as well as acquisitions are failure in the market. What is top line? Top line is related with your sales, and bottom line is related with your profit. Now, there are different modes of entry into international market. One such is export, which is a very simple kind of thing when you produce your goods in your domestic market, and you are basically supplying to a different country. This is known as, I would say, export. It may be direct export, it may be indirect export too. When without any middleman you are doing your own business, this is known as direct export. And in case of middleman presence or someone's presence when you are doing your business to a international market, this is basically indirect market, I mean to say export. Now, direct export is very good, no doubt of it, because you can enjoy profitability, but problem is that you have to invest a lot of money in foreign soil. In case of offline marketing, this is really a costly affair, but in case of online marketing, I would say this is really a good kind of thing, as because your cost is not so important here, because you do not have to invest a lot of money into that particular phenomenon. So, indirect export, on the other hand, when you are relying upon certain things, say for an example, in India, Adani Export, Tata group of companies are doing this kind of things. Here your profitability is not so high, but your chance of loss is rather very negligible, because you have to rely upon this particular middleman or the carrier who will do business on behalf of you, and because of that thing they are in the risky zone. In case of indirect exporter, you do not have to take this kind of, I would say, risk. Now, second is licensing business. What is the licensing business? First of all, before licensing, I just want to highlight another important thing, that in case of direct export, you have to think of foreign representative in overseas market, and you have to select those people also. And most important thing is that bigger investment is important. On the other hand, licensing business as well as franchising business, you are basically, what you are doing, you have a presence into the world market, and your investment is almost negligible, as because you are enjoying royalty, or I would say commission, to provide your brand or manufacturing process, maybe your trademark, maybe your products, patented products, intellectual properties, etc., to a company. So here two parties are important. One is franchisor and one is franchisee. Now it is important that both case of licensing as well as franchising, both the parties will be eager to provide you the royalty as well as commission. Now, why companies are going for that? Because it is basically a low cost entry into the international market. Most important thing is that when you are doing business in overseas market, it is very difficult to have a knowledge about that particular market. But when you are doing either by licensing or franchising, your local partner is already there. You are basically searching for the local partner. So this is very important, and at the same time, that will give you an income. The risk is basically borne by the local party. And another important aspect, I would say, in this case of licensing as well as franchising, that political issues are very important, particularly in overseas market. But in case of licensing and franchising, you do not have to take care of this kind of things, because your local partners will take care of that thing. And it allows expansion in multiple regions with minimal investment. That is most important. And because of that thing, I would say Nestle and Starbucks, they have a 7.5 billion deal in 2018, where Nestle will pay Starbucks for using their brand name of coffee as well as tea, because Nestle have a very good presence all over the world. Similarly, McDonald's and as well as Hilton hotels have a very good brand value all over the world. That's why they are allowing franchising. I would say another important aspect is very important here, that is piggybacking. I would say piggybacking means if you are basically a small organization, you want to reach to the global market, what you will do? Now you have to rely upon a big partner. So one is rider, another one is, I would say, user. So you can say the example of Google, you can say the example of Facebook, even in India, Titan is an example. So if you just have a check in Google as well as in Facebook, you will find that a lot of advertisement is coming out, because these companies are paying a lot of monies to this Facebook as well as Google for promotion of their products. What is that? This is basically nothing but piggybacking, where the small company will invest on these biggies. They are basically the rider and they are the user. Now strategic alliance is also very important. Strategic alliance, basically, what is the meaning of strategic alliance? Now strategic alliance is basically, I would say, when the two companies, say X and Y, these two companies are there, they are basically come to a conclusion or some mutual agreement that they will sell each other products. Say for an example, with Galvasmate of Novartis is basically promoted in India by US Vitamin and any other companies also. Similarly, Zanumate is also important. This is a research molecule of MSD that is basically promoted by Sun Pharmaceuticals and others. So this is basically a strategic alliance. Now next one is joint venture. Now joint venture is important because here the 50-50 chances are there, because one party and another party, both are equally important here. They are investing a lot of things, and because of that thing, a new company is formed. This is applicable for Apple with Mastercard, Maruti Suzuki. All these are the examples. Now if I say one thing, that this is a joint venture, please understand one thing. And in case of strategic alliances, I would say A as well as B, they are basically doing this business. They are not forming a new company. That is important. And next one is turnkey project. What do you mean by turnkey project? Turnkey project means when you are doing business in overseas market, it is very difficult to grab this kind of taking order and all these kind of things. So some companies are taking orders and they provide order to others also, like Larsen and Toubro. They are doing a big kind of business into the world market. Because of this kind of things, they are getting a very good amount of business from here. And at the same time, I would say another big company, that is Shapoorji Pallonji, that is also important here, because they are doing a lot of this kind of things in the world market. These are basically creating a lot of things, because turnkey project, that Larsen and Toubro as well as other companies, they have a very good presence in the world market. And because of that thing, Shapurji Palanji or L&T, they have the skilled manpower. At the same time, I would say they have a very good brand value also. Now next one is contract manufacturing. Contract manufacturing basically, this is mainly applicable, I would say, for pharma companies, as because pharma companies, big pharma companies in MNCs rather, I would say, United States or European countries, based say for Novartis, Pfizer, Glaxo, MSD, then AstraZeneca, like these companies, because of the I would say they are giving one kind of offer to small organizations based at different places of the world. Particularly India is known for that, because in India we have a skilled manpower backed by infrastructural facilities, and at the same time the cost of I mean to say the salary or remuneration part is very less in comparison to Europe as well as United States of America. So because of that thing, these pharma biggies are providing this kind of facilities to this type of companies, and because of that thing, Indian companies are doing this kind of things. Here the basically big companies are giving you this kind of formula, this kind of I mean to say technological details and everything, and basically you have to produce this kind of things and you have to supply accordingly, because otherwise there will be a problem, then it will be a costly affair. So consultancy is another kind of thing, because McKinsey, BCG, Accenture, PwC, Artist and Young are very big names. Now they are coming to different parts also. McKinsey, BCG, Accenture. Accenture have a phenomenal advantages here because of their global presence, as well as they are very big software companies, and because of that thing they are doing consultancy businesses also. And last one is FDI. FDI means foreign direct investment. What do you mean by foreign direct investment? In some cases, in some countries, you are not allowed to invest 100%. So in that case, you have to rely upon this kind of things. Either you can go for, I would say, joint venture or something like that. Foreign direct investment is important, but in some cases, say for an example, for newspaper, 100% as well as defense, 100% FDI is not allowed. So because of that thing, a lot of issues are there. Because of that thing, you have to rely on this kind of aspects, and because of that thing, multinationals are doing that. So this is basically, in nutshell, I would say, the modes of entry into the international market. If you enjoy my channel, please subscribe. Hope you are enjoying these kind of things, and happy learning.